Hello, viewers. Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. I'm your host, CGO. Please endeavor to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. Thank you very much. On the show, we'll be talking about results of round of 32 games that were played on Monday, June 29, 2026. It was very interesting games we had on Monday. We saw the game between the Orange, the Netherlands, and the Atlas Lion of Morocco. For me, that is the best game so far at the World Cup. The game was very electrifying. We saw a lot of great intensity, great action in that game. That game was very enjoyable. It was more like a final. That was how the game was. Looking at both teams play, the Moroccans played their high pressing, progressive 4-2-3-1 tactical formation. They were able to uh, completely starved the Dutch NG room. They didn't give the Dutch much room in this particular encounter. On the side of the Dutch, they played a high conservative 5-2-3 tactical formation. The plan was to absorb pressure and then hit on the counter. That was the strategy they came up with. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work out because I was very surprised to see the Dutch playing very conservatively in this particular match because we watched them at the group stage. They played more dominant football. They were more possessive the way they played. But against the Moroccans, probably the coach felt that the Moroccans would be better off than them if they tried to be dominant possession wise in the encounter. It was a very interesting game. The Moroccans were full of energy. Played with high intensity. A player like Mazarao had a very good game in this match. He was very outstanding. He was able to win about 3 tackles in this particular encounter. It was really a very good display from both sides, but the Moroccans played much better if we look at the way the game went. The Dutch got their goal through Cody Gakpo in the 72nd minute of the game, an assist from Crescencio Somersville. And then when it was getting closer to the end of the game, the Moroccans kept adding pressure. They believed they can come into the game, and it worked out for them. In the 91st minute, they were able to get an equalizer through Issa Diop. Issa Diop was the man who gave the Moroccans the equalizer in this game. A wonderful, precise cross from Chamsdin Talbi to Issa Diop, and Issa Diop was able to rise high, and then he powered a nodding. The ball went straight into the net. It was a very big relief for the Moroccans because the time was already getting closer to the end of the game. So, very good one from the Moroccans. They went into extra time. The Moroccans had opportunities of winning the game. That's why credit must go to the goalkeeper of the Dutch. But Verbruggen, he made some kind of beautiful save in this encounter. The guy, for me, was the man of the match. If you look at this game very well, he did a very great job looking at this game. If you look at the statistics of the game, the Moroccans had a better expected goal of 1.38. On the side of the Dutch, it was 0.24. And then shots on target. Netherlands had 2 shots on target, and then the Moroccans had 5 shots on target. Um, in terms of ball possession, the Dutch had 30%. The Moroccans had 70% ball possession. So the Moroccans were the better side if we look at it, but it was a keenly contested game in this match. It was very interesting game. There was no dull moment. Everything was full of action. And again, when you look at the record of the Dutch, when it comes to penalty shootout, the Dutch, they don't have a very good record. Out of the 5 times they've been involved in in penalty shootout, they've lost 4. The one they lost against Morocco is the 4th time they are losing a penalty shootout. Before the game against Morocco, they've only won just one penalty shootout, and that was in 2014 against Costa Rica. They won 4-3 on penalty shootout. In 1998, when they played a penalty shootout with the Brazilians in France, they lost 4-2 on penalty. In 2014, when they played the Argentines in the semi-final, they lost 4-2. 2022, that is the last World Cup before this one, they lost 4-3 to the Argentine team in the quarterfinal. So the Dutch, they do not have a very good record when it comes to playing penalty shootout. So very sad one for the Dutch team that they had to crash out of this competition in this manner. But the reality is that the Moroccans, they played very well, gave a good account of themselves. The like of Ashraf Hakimi was making a lot of upward runs. He was overlapping. Was even playing like a playmaker in this game. Ashraf Hakimi played so well in this game. And the credit must go to Ismail Saibari. Ismail Saibari had a very good game. He was fantastic in this game. Mounted a lot of pressure on the defense of the Dutch team. And he was the one who scored the last penalty in this particular encounter to give the Moroccans a victory. So the Moroccans will be playing a round of 16 game against the Canadians. So they'll be playing against the Canadians in the round of 16. It promises to be an exciting one. This Moroccan team looks very, very good, looks very difficult to beat. I think they have lots of qualities, especially when it comes to playing with high intensity. And their ball recovery is something that is very, very amazing. And they have so much belief. They're so confident in themselves. So this team even looks much better than the team we saw in the last World Cup in Qatar 2022. This team has a lot of things to offer in this competition. So a very good one for the Moroccans. In the game between Brazil and Japan, the Brazilians, they defeated the Japanese 2-1. They conceded a goal first in the first half. In the 29th minute of that game, that goal was scored by Kaishu Sano. He was the one who scored that goal for the Japanese. It was as a result of a pass that Danilo made in the midfield, and it was more like an under it pass. And then Kaishu Sano was able to take the ball, and he progressed the ball, and then he was able to hit a shot from outside the box, and the ball beat Alison Baker. One thing the Japanese did in that game was they tried to play a kind of a mid-low block kind of system. That was the way they structure their game. Because if you look at the game, the Brazilians had more possession of the ball. Brazilians had about 69% of possession. The Japanese had 31. So the Japanese were playing more of they played more conservatively in this encounter, and then they were able to get that goal. But in the second half, and Carlo Ancelotti was able to tweak things. He was able to make some adjustment in the attack, and what they started doing was trying to float in the ball into the 18-yard box of the Japanese. Now they know that the Japanese, when it comes to height, the Brazilians have advantage. Most of the Brazilian players have height compared to the Japanese. And then what they did was floating the ball into the 18-yard box. And that led to the equalizer from Casemiro in the second half of the game. In the 56th minute, Casemiro was able to get that equalizer, nodded that ball in, and it was 1-1. And the Brazilians kept pushing in the game until the 95th minute when Gabriel Martinelli got a pass from Bruno Guimaraes, and he converted it and gave the winner to the Brazilians, the Samba boys. It was a very good one for the Brazilians. The Brazilians dominated the game, but I feel the first half was not good enough because the Japanese succeeded in crowding Vinicius Junior. So what they did was most times they tried to put 2 or 3 players on Vinicius Junior, trying to frustrate him not to be able to be impactful in the game. So that was one of the things they did to suppress the impact of Vinicius Junior in that game, and they were able to succeed, leading 1-0 going into halftime. But in the second half, the Brazilians, based on the adjustment Carlo Ancelotti was able to make, there was a new Brazilian kind of attack in the second half, and that resulted into the victory of the Brazilians. So the Brazilians will be playing their next game against the winner between Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Norway. So the winner between Cote d'Ivoire, also known as Ivory Coast, and Norway will be the team that will be playing against the Brazilians in the round of 16. And that game will be played on Sunday, July 5th, 2026. And it will be played at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. In the game between Germany and Paraguay, the game ended 1-1 in full time and also extra time. And then they went straight into penalty shootout. And for the first time in the history of the Germans, they lost in penalty shootout because prior to that game, the Germans have played, they've been involved in 4 penalty shootouts and they've won all 4. So this is the 5th time they got involved in the penalty shootout and they lost it. In 1982, they played in the semi-finals against France in a penalty shootout and they won 5-4. In 1986, they were involved in a penalty shootout in the quarterfinals against Mexico. They won 4-1. And then in 1990, that was Italian 90, in the semi-finals against the English national team. They won 4-3 on penalty. 2006 World Cup against Argentina in the quarterfinals, they won 4-2 on penalties. So 2026 is the first time at the World Cup that the Germans are losing on penalty. So they lost 4-3 on penalty to the Paraguayans. The issue is that the Paraguayans were defensively solid in that encounter. They defended so well, tried to minimize space on the side of the Germans. The Germans had more possession of the ball, but the Paraguayans were very good defensively. They didn't give so much room to the Germans to create much space in that particular encounter, and they succeeded. In the 42nd minute, they got their goal through Julio Ciso, and then the Germans came in the second half through Kai Havertz. They were able to get an equalizer. A nice assist from Florian Wirtz to give the Germans the equalizer. And then the game went into extra time. In 102 minutes, Jonathan Tah scored an header, which the Germans thought was going to count. But that goal was overruled because there was kind of the VAR made a decision that there was an infringement on the goalkeeper of Paraguay, Orlando Gil, that led to that goal. So that goal was overruled. They went into penalty shootout, and the Paraguayans were the ones who came out smiling. And this is the first time that Paraguay will be scoring a goal at the knockout stage. They've never scored a goal at the knockout stage. So this is the first time they are doing it. And it all ended in celebration for the Paraguayans. I'm sure their coach, Gustavo Alfaro, will be very, very happy because the way they structured their game, they were they were very compact defensively, and they were able to hold the Germans very, very tight in this encounter, because the Germans had about 75% of possession, but they based on the way they structured their low block, which was a tactical formation of 4-5-1, it was very difficult for the Germans to penetrate them. They had about the Paraguayans were able to register 26 tackles, and they had about 78 clearances to frustrate the Germans in this particular encounter. So it was a game that the Paraguayans were defensively solid. The Germans had a total of 21 shots, 7 were on target, and then the Paraguayans had 7 shots in total, and then 4 were on target. One thing again we need to say here is that the goalkeeper of the Paraguayans, Orlando Gil, was very, very outstanding this game. I think he was the man of the match. He made some very good save in this particular encounter, and that gave the Paraguayans a victory in this particular encounter. So Paraguay will be playing the winner of France and Sweden when in the round of 32. So that's going to be that will be their next opponent, and that game will be played on Saturday, July 4, 2026, at the Lincoln Financial Field. That's the Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting game. So that is it from the games that were played in the round of 32 at the ongoing FIFA World Cup on Monday, June 29, 2026. If you have any thoughts to share, please kindly do that in the comment section. Help us to share our videos. Thank you very much for watching, and do have a wonderful time. Bye for now.